Hey, Crystal Maiden here for part 6 of Sonic Generations. And yeah, character mods can even let you play as Silver, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, of course, they can't implement his telekinesis, which is disappointing. I mean, well, I guess it would be too hard to program. Oh. But yeah, this is a deceptively hard mission. Like, it's weird, like, it talks about how you have to avoid the Chomper, but the biggest problem is avoiding drifting, like, you boost into the walls, and then it kills all of your momentum, and so you fall to the water. I don't know why you could only stay on the water for a limited amount of time if you're not boosting. Because Sonic never ran on the water in Hydro City Zone, right? Oh wait, he did. So why do we have to be boosting? It seems like an arbitrary limitation. But yeah, we're playing as Silver, and like, I like Silver as a character. Like, I like how he's dedicated to saving his future, and he's kind of naive. Like, people characterize him as an idiot, but like in 06 he came from an apocalyptic future. I don't that had the best education. Nowadays, with 06 erasing itself from continuity and stuff, he comes from a much more happier future where everyone has a smile, according to Colors DS anyways. So it makes sense that he would be happier. Like I don't know, I don't hate Silver. In fact, I kind of prefer his old voice to his new one, if only because that's just the voice I associate with Silver more. Sounds kind of whiny though, but his telekinesis is the coolest concept for a Sonic character power ever. But that also makes him overpowered. Oh, this is bullshit. Why can't we just type in the name of the skill set? I mean, it would be tedious doing that with a control pad, but I prefer that to this. This is like Pokemon, where you can't really type in the names of the letters. This is so stupid. I mean, you could barely name stuff what you want. How did they manage to screw that up? Like, I can barely tell what most of my skill sets are because it's so unnecessarily difficult to name them. I also don't know why you have to buy skills from skill shops. Like, you didn't have to buy your skills in Sonic and Secret Rings, you just earned them. I like the Blast Off skill, mainly because I'm impatient. The Blast Off skill, basically you press X when it says go, and then you boost right away. You don't have to wait as much. Yeah, he says that because I talked to him as Scourge in an extra part, and for some reason he never says his dialogue again, which is really lame. But he basically says, "Oh, I'm a dick, so I'm going to fight you. I want to make sure that you haven't gone soft." It's so inexplicable how he fights Sonic in this game. I mean, I know they're rivals, but still, why is he actively inconveniencing him for the Chaos Emeralds that he needs to save the world? I mean, doesn't he want to do what Maria wants? I mean, I don't think Maria would want this. I had a really terrible time with this boss fight when I first played it, and that's why I got all of these speed conductive skills in the first place. I don't understand why they decided to overcomplicate it with this stupid get a power-up gimmick. I don't know why you can't just have it the same way that it was in SA2. Only better because you have the boost, and you can just boost into Shadow when he's running around, rather than having to rely on doing the light speed dash at the right time, and it's kind of random like that. Instead, you have to boost after these purple energy balls, and then you have to use a power-up, and you can't just get one, that's another thing. You have to get multiple of them, and like, they have to charge. I took 13 minutes on this boss when I first played it because it was so unintuitive what I was supposed to do. And they don't give you nearly enough rings! They barely give you any rings at all. The only reason I didn't use... Like there is a skill called Endless Boost, I don't know if I have that at that point in the game, but the endless boost skill is really lame because it makes it so that you can't ever get rings. I don't know why it can't just give you infinite boosts and that's it. Like, you're not allowed to use it online or in the missions anyway, so you might as well give us a skill that makes us an overpowered badass. He always teleports you to this part of the arena every time he does that attack. Sometimes, it's really easy for you to get cheated out of your attacking him at the end of that. But I really like how it plays All Hail Shadow there from 06. Like, the best version of that theme. Like, the version of it from Shadow the Hedgehog was kind of GarageBand-esque, not very well quality. But yeah, like, some people say that it would be better if they played Throw It All Away instead, because he's more of a villain here. But it's a lot cooler what he... Like he's a hero now, and that is a much more awesome song. But yeah, you're supposed to quick step, not go left and right, and hit every single one of these asteroids, because that's the only way you're going to make him slow down enough so you can tailgate him and destroy him. I did not figure that out when I first played it. It doesn't help that there's a targeting reticule over him, so how the hell are you supposed to know that you're not expected to homing attack him? Doing that screws you over. They shouldn't have a homing reticule on him if you're not expected to homing attack him. Especially since they're not even jumping in the air, so the targeting reticule shouldn't even appear. Like, this boss is easy when you know what to do, but when you don't, it's one of the worst bosses in the game. And again, it just destroys Shadow's character, making him attack him for no reason. I mean, did they forget that he respected Sonic at the end of Sonic Adventure 2? Just because he had amnesia after that game, it shouldn't mean that he gets brain damage and hates him permanently after that. I mean, I assume he hit his head and that's why he got amnesia. And like, he used that as an excuse to forget his past, but... Like, at the end of Adventure 2, like, he showed no animosity towards Sonic at all. Yeah, I have to use the non-unleash model for this, the default one, because starting out this cutscene, he looks really weird even in this cutscene. Everyone was really hyped when they saw this, because this is how they originally wanted Chaos to look in the boss fight, but they couldn't because of Dreamcast limitations. Like, he looks really cool here. And this is a much better fight than it was in SA1. It's basically a level on its own. It uses the fantastic boost gameplay. It has some good platforming and some fast parts. And it controls a lot better than Super Sonic did in SA1. Like, it's not like you have to constantly somehow precisely maneuver yourself into dash pads all the time when you have slippery controls, and while jumping mitigates that, you can't hit dash pads while you're jumping. So, and you also had to focus on getting rings, but good luck doing that when you're jumping. And if you run out of rings, you have to do the whole boss over again. And I kept going to the right there because it suddenly transitioned into 3D when I was in 2D. But yeah, this is a pretty epic boss fight. They play a remix of Open Your Heart here, and there's no energy in the chorus whatsoever. It's trying a lot more to be a downer. I'm trying to think of how to describe it. It suits a boss fight a lot better, but the original version of Open Your Heart was a lot more epic and feel good. Both of them are good. Like, this is pretty nice, although that previous section was kind of awkward. They actually are really lenient with the timing on that. Like, I didn't press A for a while and I still was able to homing attack him. And this really goes to show you how much stronger modern Sonic is than when he was 13. Because back in the Dreamcast era, he needed to be Super Sonic to make Chaos stop being a threat. But here, he's able to get him to stop being a threat without even using the Chaos Emeralds. He just boosts into him and that's it. Like, you can say that he didn't neutralize his power and that's why he didn't turn to Chaos Zero, but if that was the case, then wouldn't he just keep on wreaking havoc? I don't really Like it's weird because like, are the boss gates in the levels like portals to different parts of time and space, and the white void is just a white void? Is Sonic technically in that part of the Sonic timeline right now where he was fighting Chaos originally? In which case, I guess he would continue to be a threat only in that specific part of space and time, and he wouldn't escape to the white void or anything. I don't know, it's confusing. But yeah, that was a pretty good boss. Easily the best boss in the game.
You brought back quite a bit of this world.
Really? Also, I remember seeing the zone, like Green Hill Zone there, like just pop in when I didn't have the anti-graphics flickering overrider thing enabled. So I had to get this cutscene from YouTube because the pop-in was kind of jarring. They're trying to be clever with the whole wordplay where it's like, you're doing great Sonics. Meanwhile, I just roll my eyes at how bland that is. Like Modern Tails is such a dick that he corrects himself.
Those things have come in handy.
Like, what is the point of that?
But we need that.
They're saying this as if they haven't gotten Chaos Emeralds a million times before.
I bet you can bring that.
It's about now where I want to point out that there's this awesome video on YouTube called Sonic Generations with Ryan Drummond and the old voice cast. And that's the best version of the Generations cutscenes. I mean, occasionally the lines are a bit out of place. Now that's ironic considering a lot of people think that Generations is too easy, and yet it's one of the most, if not the most fun Sonic game of all time. Guess it really is easy and fun. But anyways, like they have lines ripped from all sorts of different areas, but they do generally suit the context of the scene. So it does a pretty good job with like basically redoing the cutscenes, but with the old voice actors, and I think that they should have just done that. Like, it's a huge anniversary game, why not get the old voice actors? Like, they abandoned the 4Kids voice cast because their contract expired. And while there are some that deserve to be abandoned, like Rouge's voice, a lot of them were a lot better than the ones we have now, and some of them, the ones we have now, are just the same, or worse, I don't know. I really do love the theme that plays here. This is the best version of the Crisis City theme. It's got this badass electric guitar theme to it. Like, this is one of the best songs in the series. It's pretty ironic how this is actually Classic Sonic's level, and Classic Sonic is the one who has the electric guitar remix, while usually modern Sonic's levels have the electric guitars. But it does make sense because Classic Sonic was meant to be edgy and cool right from the very beginning. It's not like that just suddenly started with the Dreamcast era. So it's like Classic Sonic can be cool too, which is why it's all the more ironic that he's portrayed as a cute little puppy in this game. Seriously, I don't get that. The enemies can be kind of annoying. The fire shooters can also be kind of annoying. They just show up and then you have to wait for them to leave. But once again, the bubble shield is broken as ever. Again, I don't know why they don't just have elemental shields as monitors in the levels themselves. Something I figured out like a day or so ago was, you know the warning signs that they introduced in Generations, where they have good game design by telling you when there's going to be a bottomless pit, because you might otherwise just not realize you're in that low of a route, so you won't be careful enough. So they put warning signs, which is good. Now that was actually started in Sonic 1 8-bit, where in Bridge Zone, or I think it was Green Hill Zone, they had these triangular exclamation point signs in the Game Gear version, and they warned you that there was a bottomless pit below you. So technically, the warning signs are older than you think. But yeah, this is a pretty good level. until we get to later in it where the computer, or at least my computer, kind of struggles. But you'll see when we get there. This is a good level with like good platforming and speed. Just the enemies can be kind of annoying, that's all. Now to address the elephant in the room. A lot of people are really annoyed about the fact that they basically chose to reference Sonic 06, the worst Sonic game of all time. I mean, there is debate as to whether it really is the worst, because there's a lot of bad Sonic games out there. But it is pretty confusing that they decided to reference 06 with a level, just because it's a main Sonic game. Like, did they not realize how, they must have realized how badly it was received, because it caused them to take the series in a new direction, which was fantastic for the gameplay, terrible for the story writing. And like it doesn't make sense in universe, because 06's plot involved time travel, and it erased itself from continuity because of that. Because they basically had to at least blow out the flame at the end of the game, making everything not happen. In our universe, why would they reference this? That's a troll moment. Of course, I had already expected that because I had already seen playthroughs of the game, so I was expecting the goalposts to fly away from me. A lot of people probably were surprised by that though. And it's especially ironic because this is the first classic Sonic level that lasts for more than 2 minutes. But by having that goalpost fly away from you, it's kind of extending the level. And it makes sense because this is the final stretch of the game. The fire tornado section is kind of hard on the computer, or at least my computer anyways. It doesn't help that the wind physics are really annoying. They mess with your controls. They kind of make it difficult to platform, and I screwed up a lot here because of it. See? God, I told you that it was hard on the computer. My game literally froze for a second with the music still playing, just because of how much this is intensive on the computer. And it happened again the next time I played this stage in the mission. That's the real reason that I hate that fire tornado section, because I'm always worried the game is going to crash on me. This is a really awesome theme though, which makes it really suck that I can't just play it whenever I want. Like, why can't I just play it anywhere? And again, I don't see the point of unlocking artwork, since you can just go on the internet and find artwork yourself. What's the point of making it unlockable when you can just see it on the internet and it's already there?